Good morning, math masters and math scholars. Happy Friday to you. We're going to continue our lesson from yesterday, Thursday, and looking at the chart we created. Remember this? About how far the students ran until they could not run any longer, until they were huffing and puffing. So let's just do a quick review of what we did. And we wrote down all of this, and maybe if you weren't with us yesterday, you could do a freeze frame. But we pause and then write this down. So we saw Joe ran 2.5 miles, Ariana 1 3/4, Bobby 1 1/8. And we noted that the denominators 2, 4, and 8 were consistent throughout this, but we had to plot them on a number line. So what we did, we created a number line, and we knew that no one ran less than 0. Pretty hard to do unless they ran backwards. And no one ran more than 3. And what we did originally, we saw that Joe ran 2.5, so we marked these in halves. Then we saw that Ariana ran 1 3/4, so we put them into quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we saw that Bobby ran 2 1/8, so we put them into eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that we were able to plot pretty simply. Now we're going to answer some questions about this plot, this number line. And are going to use this to answer some questions. And you don't need to write down the questions. I'm not going to write down the questions. You just need to answer them along with me. So question 2A, who ran a mile farther than Jenny? So we're going to need to go to Jenny right here. And remember, we broke up our mile into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. So let's just take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right there. It looks like Morgan ran a mile farther. So here's Jenny at 5/8 and Morgan at 1 5/8. So we can see 1 mile farther. So our answer to 1A, who ran a mile farther than Jenny, is Morgan. All right, let's see what else we got. Number 2B, who ran a mile less than Jack? Well, let's just take a look. We go to Jack right there. I'm glad I did this in different colors. And go back 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it looks like it's Morgan again. So let's compare Morgan and Jack. Morgan 1 5/8, Jack 2 5/8. So we can see that Jack ran a mile more than Morgan. So I'll put A here and B is Jack. Let's see what letter C has. 2 students ran exactly 2 1/4 mile. Identify the students. How many quarter miles did each student run? So we're going to see who ran 2 1/4 miles. So we have 2. I don't think I read that right. 2 1/4 miles. So where is 1/4? It'd be right here. I don't see 2 1/4 miles. Is that a mistake? Did they make? Do we miss? Oh no, we got it right here. Sasha. Sasha ran 2 1/4, and then also Anson ran. Remember, we were running out of room, so we had Sasha and Anson, and then we look here. Sasha 2 1/4, and Anson 2 2/8. So those are equal. So we can write Sasha and Anson for C. Then, the second part of the question is, how many quarter miles did each student run? So we're not looking at eighths of miles, we're looking at quarters of miles. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they ran 10 quarter miles. And that would look like 10 over 4, right? Which would equal what? 2 and, whoops, I'm sorry. 10 over 4, right? What did I mix up on? They ran, let's double check this. 10 quarter miles. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, excuse me, 9. Mr. Liggett made a mistake on that. That doesn't work. So it'd be 9 fourths, so we'd have 2, right? 9 divided by 4 is 2. 1 left over, 2 and 1/4. Ta-da! Okay, our next one, D. What is the difference in miles between the longest and shortest distance run? Wow. So let's take a look. Jenny is the shortest, and Jack is the longest. So let's just count by 8, okay? Because we broke our miles into 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 mile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 miles. And then we have this one more to go, and remember we broke into 8s, so it'd be 2 and 1/8. And we'll do E. E. Compare the distances run by Ariana and Morgan using greater than, less than, or equal to. So let's go to Ariana. And Ariana ran 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighths. And Morgan ran 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eighths. Well, what's greater? Be 1 and 6 eighths, of course. And this is kind of an interesting question because Morgan 1 and 5 eighths and where is she? Ariana 1 and 3/4. So they didn't have the same denominator, but if you make them the same, where's Morgan? 8. It'd be 8 and 6 eighths. So there we have it. Let's go to E. Compare the distances run by, oh, we just did that. And let's go to F. Mrs. Smith ran twice as far as Jenny. How far did Mrs. Smith run? Write her distance as a mixed number. So let's see what Jenny ran. Remember Jenny ran 5 eighths. So she ran twice as far. So let's just do this. 5 eighths plus 5 eighths. And what does that equal? Well, remember, do we add these? No, 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 no. We add the numerators, though. We don't add the denominators. 5 plus 5, 5, 10. We have 10 eighths, but we need to do it in a mixed number. 10 divided by 8. How many eighths can you squeeze into 10? Well, only 1. And what's your remainder? 10 minus 8 is 2. So 1 and 2 eighths. And G. Mr. Reynolds ran 1 and 3/10 miles. Use greater than, less than, or equal to compare the distance Mr. Reynolds ran to the distance that Mrs. Smith ran. Well, Mrs. Smith ran 1 and 2 eighths, and Mr. Reynolds ran 1 and 3/10. So let's do that. We're going to say 1 and 2 eighths and 1 and 3/10. What is larger? I know they're both going to be pretty close. I would use to handle this one, I'm not going to make a tape diagram, that'd be kind of silly, although we could, but let's just multiply 8 times 10, okay, because 8 times 10 is pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the 2 eighths, we'll make a little border here, 2 eighths, and it's going to equal, so set that up, 2 eighths times 10 over 10, right? 2 times 10, 20. 8 times 10, 80. So we have 20 eightieths, and then we'll multiply 3/10, what Mr. Reynolds ran, and 3 over 10 equals, and notice we're going to multiply by 8, okay? We already multiplied the 8 by 10, but now we're going to multiply the 10 by 8. 10 times 8 is 80. See, we both have 2 eightieths, and 3 times 8 is 24. 24 twentieths is indeed larger than, 24 eightieths is larger than 20 eightieths, so Mr. Reynolds ran longer. I know it was kind of a difficult lesson because you didn't have the questions in front of you. We got to review some of our concepts that we've been learning. And make sure you log on to IXL and Imagine Learning for 20 to 25 minutes today. Get some reading done, 30 minutes, and make sure you look at science to see how our very berry ink experiment turned out, to see if that ink actually worked. I will talk to you tomorrow, or Monday, excuse me.